Good evening, everybody. Actually, from today, during the next 9 days, I'll try to give some impact of the auditing paper. Especially, I'm trying to discuss all the matters in the syllabus with the questions because you already covered all the theories. Those who are set for the exam 2 or more times, they already covered all the standard and everything they know, right? And those who are going to face in the first time also same. You had participated so many lectures and classes, and you got all the theories, and you can bring your document into the classroom also. So open book exam, right? Therefore, I'm trying to discuss the questions with you, covering the entire area of the syllabus, right? Because at the so many discussions, we identified majority of the students facing difficulties with the writing of the answer. All of these don't know about the answer, what need to be right. They know, but the question is how to write down the things within your mind into the sheet. That's a task, because examiner examine you through your answer script, right? Therefore, you have to write down clearly what you are going to write for the answer. Before moving to the lesson, I'll take few times to explain the entire audit process. Right? Within few minutes time, I try to explain the entire audit process and what you have to do, right? I will take 15 minutes to explain that one, right? Normally, you know what is the audit and all the things, but entire audit process, right? We have to take as a whole. That's an important thing. Normally, we are doing audit on businesses, not-for-profit organization also we are doing audit, but our main focus is on the businesses, those who are earning profits, right? When we take the business, right? Business is not a closed system, it's an open system to the society, the environment. It is enclosed to the environment, therefore, it is not operating individually, right? They have to deal with other factors in the environment. Therefore, this business within the environment, right? I'll take this circle as the business and this is the environment, right? As per your management knowledge, you know you can divide your environment into two sides, that is microeconomics and microenvironment and macro environment, right? Then when you are doing businesses, business have to deal with the micro factors as well as the macro factors. Not only that, business itself, they develop their own internal controls. Therefore, within the business, they have internal controls, right? Within the business, they have internal controls. They have to obey, they have to follow those controls, right? Other than those controls, you can see, no? Right? Other than these controls, they have to follow the implications of the micro and macro factors. Normally in the micro factors, what are the factors included in the microeconomics in related to the business? Generally, we can say the 5 forces. Porters explain those are 5 forces: suppliers, customers, competitors. Those are the basic factors within the microeconomic, right? Suppliers, competitors, creditors, customers, debtors. Those are the microeconomic factors that affect to the business activities. After that, these microeconomic factors, we use in the management, but in the business we can call this is the industry. Microeconomics is the industry. Competitors also there, right? Then industry within the economy. Then the economy we are dividing into 4, that is the first, right? Political environment, economical, social, legal and technical environment is there that affecting the business activities. Now, when business carry out their business activities for a particular year, they cannot carry out their business as they wish, right? They have to follow all the effect of the factors other than the internal control. Finally, at the end of the year, they publish their financial statement to the society, right? They doing all the business activities, simply we can say transaction and events. All the transaction and events they carry out within the business are under control of the internal control with the effect of other factors of the environment. And finally, the result of that, they publish through financial statement. What is the auditor's responsibility? Auditor have a responsibility to express an opinion on the financial statements, right? When we are going to express an opinion on financial statement, when they ask to do that, right, we have to check the financial statement. That's our responsibility. But, right, we have to plan this process, because normally financial statements, generally, it included so many errors as well as frauds, right? Therefore, we need to identify those frauds first. It is not our responsibility, but we have to identify those things, right? It's not our responsibility, but we have to identify, right? Therefore, we cannot check only these financial statements, right? We have to start from the beginning. Beginning is the business. When we come into the business control and the internal controls. Then entire business within the industry and industry within the country or world, right? Those effects we need to consider before we start the audit, because the actions taken by these factors, these persons and the internal controls, right? Those actions directly affect into the result of the financial statement. For example, when you take the financial statement, under current asset you have stocks, right? In generally, it is come under LKS 2, need to be recorded lower of cost or net realizable value, right? Assume one of the client they recorded at cost. The client, assume they are selling mobile phones, right? They recorded their closing stock at cost, right? But technological impact is huge for the mobile phone seller. Why? Day by day, mobile phones technology changing, right? The closing stock as of the 31st March or 31st December may be, right, may be outdated after few weeks or few days with the introduction of a new technology. Therefore, most of the time, their net realizable value very low than their cost they purchased, right? Therefore, we need to identify the technological impact of that before audit the inventories, right? The simple example. That's why auditor need to identify that their environment as well as internal environment before he start the audit, right? Then auditor, when he start in the audit, he need to check whether their controls are appropriate or not, whether they properly maintained or not, right? To this process we call test of controls, right? Test of control. We are testing their internal controls, right? As well as they need to check their environmental factors also, that is micro and macro factors. They need to check those things, right? Mainly those are conducting through, they are analyzing the environment, right? Mainly we call risk assessment. They are assessing the risk, especially from the environment to the business, right? Because entire business activities running under these risks as well as the controls. Therefore, you have to identify what are the risks faced by the business during the year, what are the future risks, right? How those risks affected to the financial statement, final figures, right? It is not affected to the figures, those are affecting to the transactions or events. But all transactions are even presented as a balance or figure in the profit and loss or balance sheet, right? Therefore, in the initial stage, auditor have to assess the risk as well as check the internal controls. Once he finalize this one, auditor can identify is there any inefficiencies, right, in the internal control. If internal control including some inefficiencies, we call that is control risk, right? Control not performing properly, we call there is a control risk. The final result we identified how much the control risk. Not only that, through the control risk as well as the assessment, risk assessment from the environment, you identified the inherent risk also. Inherent risk, right? I am not going to explain what is inherent risk, what is control risk, you can learn those things, right? He can identify inherent risk as well as control risk after analyzing of entire environment, both internal and external, right? If auditor conclude there is huge risk of control as well as there are huge risk of inherent risk, right? he know the possibility of including fraud and errors in the financial statement is high, right? Assume he assess like this, inherent risk, both inherent risk and control risk is high, then auditor conclude the possibility of material misstatements, right, is high in the financial statement. From this conclusion, he come into this one. From that conclusion, he knows within the financial statement have more fraud and errors. Therefore, auditor knows he need to check more. He need to perform more procedures on financial statement. To check the balances and transactions in the financial statement, we perform substantive procedures. Right? Therefore, when you are going to start audit, first you have to analyze the external environment, then internal environment, and identify the risk, especially inherent and control risk. Then you can conclude whether there are fraud and errors in the financial statement. If it is in high level, you are going to perform more substantive procedures. You need to perform more substantive procedures, right? Assume that cell phone seller record their closing stock at cost. But there are so many technical changes in the mobile phone industry, right? It may be cost to reduce the net realizable value of these stocks, but they recorded at cost. You know there are so many technical changes in the environment. Therefore, you need to perform more procedures on stocks to verify that, right? Otherwise, you cannot identify the fraud and errors within the financial statement, right? If you cannot identify the financial statement, you have detection risk, right? As auditor, you try to detect those misstatements in the financial statements, right? If there is high control risk or inherent risk, you need to perform more substantive procedures, otherwise detection risk may high, right? If you can increase substantive procedures and decrease your detection risk, your entire audit risk will decrease. What is audit risk? The possibility of express an inappropriate opinion by the auditor, right? Therefore, this is the entire auditing process, right? Now, this process can be divided into three, right? This stage, this is the planning stage, right? In the planning, you have to decide how much procedures I am going to apply on the financial statement. Then, performing stage, I am trying to perform the planned procedures on the financial statement, and the conclusion, the audit report. Clear? Likewise, you have to learn in these three stages. First, planning of the audit, then performing the procedures on the financial statement, right? And finally, conclusion of the audit, right? Examiner also trying to test these three stages in the same paper always, right? Because this is a one activity, but we are divided into three and try to learn, but finally you have to converse all these things. Clear? Right? Entire things in the auditing process are included here. Now, somebody can be asked, what is the audit risk? Audit risk is possibility including material misstatements in the financial statement and auditor unable to detect these. Right? Why material misstatements was arise? Due to control risk and inherent risk. Right? Therefore, you have to start from here and end at from the audit opinion. Right? Other than this picture, so many rules and regulations applicable for the auditor are around the picture. Code of ethics should be applied during the process. Right? Then rules and regulations for the financial statement. What are the rules and regulations for the financial statements? Accounting standards. Right? Then rules and regulations for the business. What are the rules and regulations for the business? Corporate governance, Companies Act requirement. If it's a bank, CBSL guidelines. If it's an insurance company, IBSL guidelines. Right? Those are the additional things you need to learn before facing the paper. When you are going to audit an insurance company, right? You are learning internal controls. Then you are learning external environment, especially in the legal environment, IBSL guidelines, right? Then other insurance industry practices, those are you need to learn. Then special accounting standard applicable for insurance companies, right? And your own behavior, that is code of ethics. Those are the other things you need to learn, right? Today, I am taking time to discuss regarding the audit report, because all these procedures we are trying to apply to conclude the process, that is the audit report. That's the result of the process. Therefore, I am trying to discuss today about the audit opinion, right? Especially modified audit opinion, how to format that audit opinion, as well as how we are going to decide the opinion, right? But you need to keep your mind this process, because this process is in a one line. We are planning, then performing as per the planning, then based on the result on the performance, we are concluding the audit, right? Today I am trying to discuss the conclusion part, right? I am not going to discuss the things should be included in the audit report and how we are going to include each item, right? Because you know those things. Especially audit report, right? Governing by the audit standard 700. Not only that, 167, section 167 of the Companies Act. In the Companies Act, there are 6 requirements need to be included in the audit report. Then the audit standard explain what are the things need to be included in the audit report. Especially in the Companies Act requirement more important, right? Always the most important thing is legislation, that is the law, Companies Act, then standard, you have to apply both things in the audit standard. I am not going to apply, not going to discuss the standard now, but modified audit opinion, because examiner never tested, right, unmodified audit opinion from you. How to form an unmodified audit opinion, right? They are going to test always, their practice is testing modified audit opinion, right? Normally, when you are going to modify the audit opinion, there are 2 reasons, right? Due to these 2 reasons, we have to modify. Examiner normally in the past papers, not only CA Sri Lanka papers, ACA and other professional organization papers, they are given you the situation and the issue. You have to decide what is the proper qualification we can include in the report, right? To decide the qualification, first you have to identify what is the reason, right? The reason for modification coming from scope limitation or disagreement with management. Normally scope limitation means in the planning process, you are planning to perform some audit procedures on the financial statements, right? But you cannot perform those planned procedures due to the different limitations, right? You cannot ensure those things, you cannot validate those things. We call that is limitation, scope limitation. Disagreement with management means the application of accounting principles, policies, disclosure requirement, those things disagree with the management process. Management using one thing and you are recommending another thing. That's a disagreement. As per these 2 situations, 2 different audit opinion you can introduce, right? Right, there are only 2 reasons to modify your opinion, that is scope limitation or disagreement with management, right? When you are going to modify your opinion due to this one of this reason, right, you have to check the impact of this issue. If there is scope limitation or disagreement, you have to identify the impact. Impact means how financial figures or presentations mislead or misrepresented by the management due to this issue, right? Some issues are there, due to that issue, some of the figures in the financial statement may be misrepresented. Some issues affecting to the entire financial statement, right? Now, question is, how check that? How that issue affecting to the entire financial statement? How to measure that, right? In the technically, we call material and pervasiveness. When that issue affecting to specified area, we call that is material. When that issue affecting the entire financial statement, we call pervasiveness, right? Now, the duty is to measure in this effect. How to check the how to measure the materiality, how to measure the pervasiveness, right? It is depend on you. Standard also asks auditor to judge by auditor's personal judgment whether it is affecting the specific area or entire financial statement. But in the practice, we are using different levels, right? Normally, to check the material, we are taking profit and turnover. Basically, we are using profit and turnover. But when we are going to use profit and turnover, we have to identify the business first, right? Normally, when we take retail businesses or service businesses, they have a huge margin. Especially retail business, they have a small margin. Therefore, when you are going to take the profit, right, profit have small amount, but your turnover is very high. When you are going to manufacturing company, they are having huge margin because they are manufacturing and selling, right? They have huge margin, but they have low sale, right? Therefore, for a manufacturing company, we are selecting profit, but service related or retail organizations, we are taking sales, right? Those are the practice, right? Not the recommended thing in the standard. In the practice we are using. Then the percentage we are taking out of that figure. It is very important. We are dividing businesses then. PLCs, private limited. Basically we are dividing into PLCs and private limited. PLCs means the public responsibility businesses. The business having huge public responsibility, right? Private limited, you have business having small amount of public responsibility. Therefore, we have to consider high level of materiality or low level of materiality for PLCs. For PLCs, high level of material means what? Don't confuse with the figure. Material level is high means what? You are considering small amounts, right? Material level is low means you are not going to consider small figures. Therefore, for PLCs, from the profit, we are using 5%. From the sales, we are using 0.5%. Clear? But when we come into private limited, profit we can increase up to 10%. Right? For sales, we can increase up to 1% from 0.5. Right? Therefore, as the percentage, you have to take the small percentage from the number, right? From the number, you need to take the small number for the PLC, biggest number for the private limited, right? Then, if your issue achieve that level or go beyond that level, you call it is material, right? In the practice. When you come to the pervasiveness, that is affecting to the entire financial statement, right? We have to check whether this is affecting the entire financial statement or entire business. It is based on your judgment. In the practice, we are taking net asset. Net assets represent the entire business, right? If your issue go more than your net asset, 10% or 20% or 15% or 5%, go beyond that level, you are taking it as pervasiveness, right? But it is depend on the judgment, right? some legal issues, right? Litigations and claims may affect into the entire business going concern. Clear? For example, daycare center, right? One of the parent sue against the business due to the damages to their children. Now it is affecting the going concern because they are take over the caring about their children in a daycare center. Now some damages happen to the children within the period, right? Within the daytime, it may affect into the entire going concern of the business, right? Or guest going to sue against the hotel, it is affecting the entire business going concern, right? It is based on your judgment, right? After that, which audit opinion we can express? In the material, scope limitation means you cannot ensure, you cannot refer any document or explanations from the management due to the scope limitation. No evidence, no documents, no verbal explanation at least to examine. Therefore, you have to, that material means it is affecting to the specific area. You can say other than that specific area, financial statement give through a fair view. That process we call qualified opinion, right? As well as in the disagreement with management. The disagreement may affect into specific area. You can say other than that area, financial statement give through an fair view, right? Here again you can say qualified opinion because it is affecting only specific area. But when it's come to the pervasiveness, right? That issue, scope limitation or disagreement with management affecting to the entire financial statement. Now take that scope limitation. Scope limitation means you cannot refer any document, you cannot use any document, evidence, explanation, anything from the management. They are not going to provide you. Therefore, you can't say anything because you don't know what happened there. Clear? Therefore, you have to disclaim the opinion. We are not going to provide an opinion on the financial statement because we don't know what happened there. Entire financial statement we didn't ensure, we didn't validate it, right? Therefore, disclaimer of opinion. Disclaim the opinion. In that case, we say we have to express, we are not going to express an opinion on financial statement because we don't know what happened there, because management not provided documents, explanations to our peruser. Clear? But in the disagreement with management means we are saying one thing and management saying other thing. The disagreement of policies, accounting practices. We know what is the correct thing, but management practicing different thing. Now we know it is wrong. Therefore, we can say financial statement not give through an fair view, that is adverse opinion. Right? This is a basic modification model. When you are going to modify your audit report, right? This is a basic. Clear? Other than these two, you can include another two methods of qualification, but it is not affecting the opinion. That is emphasis of matter or other matter. In the last year exam, I think in ACCA, June 2015, they tested what is the difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Right? The basic thing is both two paragraphs we are including after the opinion. That means due to the emphasis of matter or other matter, it is not affecting to the opinion, right? But there is a difference between emphasis matter and other matter, right? Why we are including emphasis of matter paragraphs? We know some scope limitations or disagreement is there, but it is not affecting to the entire financial statement or it is not affecting to the specific area. But as auditor, we know it should be aware by the users of the financial statement, and management already disclosed it in the financial statement under notes, but we need to inform it to the users. Therefore, through emphasis of matter paragraph, that means we are going to emphasize a matter included in the notes, right? Therefore, when you are going to include the emphasis of matter paragraph, there should be a disclosures by the management, and there should be a link to the note number. Otherwise, you cannot emphasize a matter. You are going to emphasize, you are going to disclose that disclosures to the public through the audit report. Therefore, we are emphasizing matters, those are included in the notes or policies. Clear? Other matter means auditor believes some matters are there but not disclosed by the management, but users should know about it. Those are not disclosed under note at least. Those are included in the other matter. For example, when last year financial statement audited by another auditor, right, we have to mention under other matter because it is not disclosed in the notes, right? Assume company facing serious loss of capital. What is serious loss of capital? Their equity came below the 50% of their stated capital. Now, as per the Companies Act 220, no? Section 220, I think, right? Company may summon extraordinary general meeting and explain what are the actions they are going to take to recover those cases, right? Then, under notes, normally management disclose what the action they are going to take. Clear? However, auditor have to inform to the users those actions are included in the notes by linking to the note number. Clear? Therefore, this is very important. Look at this one. The difference between emphasis matter and other matter. Right? This already tested in the last June ACCA paper, maybe tested in this time in CA paper. Right? Because in the practice, I am also in audit firm, in the practice we experiencing so many times, right, the most difficult part into drafting the audit report and selecting the suitable qualification or modification. That is the most difficult part, right, and it should be complied with the other rules and regulation. Other thing is that, right, therefore, emphasis matter and other matter is very important, right. Keep your mind, you can include an emphasis matter, right, relating to a specific disclosure in the notes. If there is no any disclosure, you cannot emphasize because we are going to emphasize the matter and the matter should be in the notes. Other matter means there is no notes, there are no any explanations by the manager, but you need to inform to the users. That is the other matter. Clear? Examiner will provide the case scenario, you have to decide what is the suitable qualification, right. Those are the basic thing in the qualifications and modification. Other than that, this modification and qualification highly affected with the going concern. Therefore, I selected that going concern qualifications also to discuss with you. Before going to the questions, I explain the qualifications you can use in the going concern matter. I am not going to explain what is going concern, you know that one. Then what are the implications of going concern, you know financial implications, operation implication and other implications. When there are these type of implications, you have to collect more evidence regarding the going concern. Now I am talking about the final stage, right. When considering the going concern matter, right, at the final stage, you can conclude three situations. The going concern assumption made by the, why we call this is assumption? The conceptual framework, right, clearly mention the assumption used for the preparation of financial statements, right. In the conceptual framework, there is only one assumption, that is going concern. Right? Don't take previously we call the accrual concept also assumption. It is not an assumption, it is a concept. We are using only one assumption in financial statement preparation, that is going concern. Right? Now, auditor have a responsibility to check whether that assumption is okay or not. For that, he has to collect more evidence. Right? You know what are the implications, as it is included in the standard, as well as the corporate governance also include those implications, right. You can refer those things. Financial implications, operating implications and other implications, right. Now, once you identified those implications, then you have to compare those implications and the financial statement, whether those implications affect into the going concern of the business. Then you can conclude whether that assumption is appropriate or not. That appropriateness can be divided into 3 levels. The assumption is appropriate, no doubt, no going concern issue as per our opinion, right? Appropriate but material uncertainty exit, losing of major customer, right? Inability to find out new customers, losing major markets, inability to find out new markets, material uncertainty exit but appropriate. Third one, inappropriate, not appropriate. In these 3 different levels, you have to express different audit opinions. I will explain one by one. This is the most important one, right, in the audit opinion. It is appropriate, you are not going to modify, that is unmodified financial audit opinion, that is financial statement give true and fair figure. Clear? Now I have a question. When auditor explain true and fair view, we call it is unmodified, right? When auditor going to change the opinion, we call it is modified. Why? Why that technical word coming into the practice? Unmodified is true and fair view. If there is a doubt or problem, we call modified. Why? That is very important, right? Why we are using this word? Normally, auditors, right, going to express an opinion on financial statement with the belief of financial statement properly prepared. When they are starting their audit, they believe financial statement properly prepared and presented. Clear? They have a belief, right? They didn't think those are included more fraud and errors. Normally, when we start in the audit, we believe those financial statements presented properly, no material misstatements. At the final stage, we realize that our belief is correct. Clear? We will be realized our belief is correct. If we believe is it correct, then no need to change our thinking at the opening stage. Clear what I am telling? At the planning stage, at the opening stage of the audit, very first time, we believed financial statement properly prepared and we started our audit procedures. At the final stage, we realize there is no any misstatements. That means it will realize our initial belief is okay. No need to change. That's why unmodified. We are not going to change our initial belief. Due to some misstatements, we have to change our belief. Clear? If you are going to change our belief, that is modify. We are going to modify, change. Clear? Therefore, if you are presenting true and fair view, we call unmodified opinion because our belief is okay. Right? Then take appropriate but material uncertainty exit. Right? Some uncertainties are in the field. Then when there is an uncertainty about the going concern of the business, the management responsibility is to disclose to the users. If they properly disclosed, clear? If they properly disclosed, no matter. Financial statement properly presented. But they are going to disclose those matters in the notes. Right? Normally users not going to use this note, they are referring balance sheet and the profit and loss account. You know, you have to inform to the users about this matter. It is in the notes, you have to say that is in the note. Clear? Then what the opinion you have to use? As I previously explained. You need to explain there is a matter, it is in this note, therefore please please refer that matter. What is a suitable qualification? Emphasis of matter. Clear? Very easy to decide this one, right? Audit is not a difficult subject. Very easy, but you need to identify the path and the way of writing and way of thinking. That's the important thing. Right? They properly disclose, no matter. But that discloses not in the face of the balance sheet, statement of financial position, and that disclose not in the face of income statement, not in the cash flow changes in equity, it is in the notes. After few pages, right? Therefore, you need to inform to the user that matter already discussed in this page, this note. Therefore, you have to emphasize the matter in the audit report. Clear? But the case is not fully disclosed. They disclose, but not fully disclose. Small amount of information they disclose. Because management will believe if we disclose entire matter, it will adversely affect on the business. For example, last year financial statement, when we are auditing a specific, in my firm, when we are auditing a reputed company in Sri Lanka, they had a litigation issue. One of the ex-employees who against the business by claiming 100 million rupees. Right? We asked them to disclose that one because that matter at that time judging in the court. We asked them to disclose. Then what the management asked us to do? Don't disclose this one, please don't disclose. If we disclose, our share price will down. Right? But we asked them to disclose. Finally they disclose and we include the emphasis of matter. Some companies trying to disclose few amounts, only the favorable information in the note. That is we call not fully disclosed. If it is not fully disclosed, we asked to disclose, they are not going to fully disclose. Then what is that? Is scope limitation or disagreement? Disagreement, then what is the suitable qualification? Qualified opinion. Other than that matter, financial statement give through and fair. Clear? Because we asked them to disclose, they are not going to disclose all the information, only few information they are going to disclose. Now there is a disagreement. There is a disagreement, therefore, now we have to judge whether it is affecting the entire financial statement or not. They disclose some information. They hide another some information. Therefore, qualification is enough. Qualified opinion is enough. Assume they didn't disclose all the information about the case. Clear? Now they have a litigation claim. They didn't disclose anything in the financial statements. Clear? That now there is again disagreement with the management. Then what happened? That is affecting to the entire financial statement because they didn't disclose anything about the matter. Then we express an adverse opinion, financial statement not give through and where are we? Clear? Therefore, the important thing is not to learn this flow chart. The important thing to learn this chart, right? And the emphasis matter and the other matter. Because those are explaining what you have to do. This is an example only for the going concern matter. Right? Now, take the third scenario, inappropriate. Company haven't any going concern in future, but they prepared in the going concern basis. Clear? That is inappropriate. They haven't any going concern, but they prepared on going concern basis. Now what you have to do first? You have to ask the management to change the financial statement. If there is no going concern, you cannot classify your asset and liabilities through non-current and current because you haven't any non-current now. Why? You haven't any non-current asset or liability because you haven't any going concern. As per the definition of going concern, you know within the next 12 months, business will collapse. Then no non-current asset or no non-current liability. Therefore, you advise the management to change the presentations. That's why I mentioned that request management to prepare financial statement on an alternative basis because now existing basis is going concern basis. They prepared on going concern basis. But you know it is not in a going concern situation, therefore please change that. You have to request them. Then what is the suitable method? Liquidation basis. You have to say, please include all asset and liabilities under current asset and record their market value, of course whichever is lower, because you are going to dissolve the business next year. Right? Now, you can divide into two. Management agreed to do so or not agreed. Once you request to change the basis, management can agree to do so or they didn't agree. If they agreed, right, they have to prepare those financial statements as per the agreed, and necessary disclosures need to be provided. Clear? Now, is there any disagreement with the management? You asked to change the basis, they had changed and they disclosed. Now, is there no any disagreement? But you know, the users of the financial statement should know this. Therefore, you have to include emphasis of meta paragraph. Clear? They agreed to do so, but you know, as an auditor, the users of the financial statement should be aware. Therefore, you have to emphasize the disclosures made by them. Clear? Assume management disagree to do so. They are saying, we have going concern, no doubt, but we are asking to change. Because we know as auditors, need to be changed, but they are not going to change. Now, disagreement with management about that. If they are going to disagree, they should have proper evidence to mitigate in that case, to overcome that issue. Right? When company preparing financial statement on going concern basis, and when auditor asking to management to change their going concern basis because there is no going concern, the reason is huge issue, no? Financial issue or operating issue or other issue. Right? Now we are asking to change the financial statement basis. They are not going to change. They can present without changes. To present like this, they should have enough recovery actions, future recovery actions. For example, when they are facing serious loss of capital, we can say, you haven't any going concern, please change your basis. Then management can argue like this, no, we have going concern because our director is going to fund business from next month. Now we are in the last month in the financial year, they are going to fund it next month. I experienced this case in last month in my practice. Right? It's a huge company, they are facing serious loss of capital. I asked them to change the basis, but they told me, no, our director is going to fund personally. We have to accept that. Because we are not the owners are going to fund it, we have to accept that. But to accept, you have to collect sufficient evidence about that recovery actions. We call mitigating factors. How we are going to mitigate the case, how we are going to mitigate the issue, eliminate the issue. Right? Serious loss of capital, director is going to fund. Clear? Or loan cases, bank agreed to reschedule the loans. Likewise, management can provide evidence to maintain their going concern, but auditor should collect enough evidence about those mitigating factors and should disclose those things in the financial statement. If they can provide sufficient mitigating factors and if they can disclose those in the thing in the financial statement, no need to change the basis of preparation. But you have to inform this matter to whom? The users of the financial statement. Therefore, you are including emphasis on meta paragraph if evidence available about what? They are mitigating plans. Clear? If no disclose, no mitigating factor, but didn't agree, you are including adverse opinion. Clear? This is the fixture of going concern. This is the final fixture of the going concern. Right? Now you can check your knowledge by using this example. Read this one. This is related to the going concern matter. Examiner asks you to develop the audit opinion. Right? Having completed the file review, you have concluded that use of going concern assumption is appropriate. You have concluded that the management use of that assumption is appropriate. Now where you are now? Where you are now? You conclude that it is appropriate. Now you are not in here. No need to go these three cases. Why? You concluded it is appropriate. It may be appropriate under some circumstances, so purely appropriate. Clear? Right. It is appropriate, but that there is a significant doubt over company's ability to going concern as continue as a going concern. Now you are in the middle scenario. Appropriate but material uncertainty, exit. Now you know you have only 3 opinions. Out of that 3, 1 opinion you have to explain in your answer. Look at how easy. It is not a difficult subject, right? But your path and analytical thinking is the important thing, right? Look at the question. But that there is a significant doubt over company ability to continue as going concern. You have advised the company's audit committee that a note is required in the financial statement to describe the significant doubt over going concern. Yes. If there is a, if it is appropriate and material uncertainty exit, you have to ask from the management to disclose it, right? What management response? The audit committee is reluctant to include a detailed note. Reluctant to include a detailed note. It is important. That means they are agreed to include a small note, right? Detailed note to the financial statement due to fears that the note will highlight the company's problems to the society and cause further financial difficulties, but have agreed to brief note will be included. Now you know the answer, right? No need to read the question. What is the answer? Not fully disclosed. It is disagreement with the management and it is not affecting to the entire financial statement in technically not pervasive, but it is material. Therefore, auditor should express qualified opinion. Then examiner can be asked to draft that. It is very easy. Turn the page of the standard 705 and write down, replace the name, because in the standard book they mention ABC and company, you have to replace the company name in the question paper. That's all. Because no need to cram that opinion. In our time, I passed that audit paper in 2010. In that time, we have to cram all the procedure, that format also. At that time, it was a closed exam. But now it is open exam. No? You can bring your standard books and other things. Very easy. No? You have to decide only. Then you can turn page, but you should know where it is in the standard book, right? It is a huge book. 705 include those modified opinion, right? Then select the suitable qualification and write down. Keep your mind, you have to change the name of the company because it is in ABC in the format. Some students write down the same name in the answer. That's the case, right? Okay. Take this picture into a sheet because this is not in the standard book. They explain paragraph by paragraph. I summarize like this. Right? I don't know whether they allow to write down this format in the standard book. I don't know. Check with the examination department. Right? If you can summarize like this, I think it is easy to you. But I don't know. Right? Right? Take this one into for your sheets. All the students, all students turning pages and seeking pens to write down. No need. You have sophisticated phones, right? Take a photograph with me also. Right? Take this one. Okay. Right. This is the starting point of it. Right. The qualification may arise due to scope limitation, no? Disagreement. Now we have to learn what is that disagreement and scope limitation. Now this is the disagreement. Financial statements are materially misstated. Previously we called disagreement with management. Now we are calling materially misstated. Right? in relation to three areas. Selecting of accounting policies, right? Selecting of accounting policies can be disagreed. Then application of those policies. Selection is okay, but application is wrong, right? Then third one, disclosures. In relation to the disclosures, disagreement may arise, right? Take financial instrument, right? In the financial instruments, financial assets, basically fair value through profit or loss, so available for sale financial assets should be measured at fair value, right? Now you ask them to use this one. Now client having available for sale investment as well as fair value through profit or loss investment, they are recorded at cost. You asking them to record at fair value, right? Now selection of policy, there is a disagreement, right? Then assume they agreed to use that policy, okay, they have to measure that fair value, they agreed. Then when they are going to measure their fair value, how many methods we have to measure fair value? 3 methods. We divide into 3 levels, right? Level 1, level 2 and level 3. The level 1 means directly you obtain information from the market. Level 2, you are taking market information for similar organization and adjust as per your business. Level 3, you are discounting your future cash flows, right? Now applying this one, they are using separate thing out of that. They are not using level 1, level 2 or level 3, they are using separate method. That is application of policy selected. There is a disagreement. Or disclosures, then you have to disclose about level 1, level 2, level 3 information, right? There can be a disagreement with the disclosures, right? You are saying one thing and management applying another thing, right? Relating to these 3 areas, okay, right. Then scope limitation. Scope limitation we call inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. No enough information to obtain evidence. It goes to 3 areas. Circumstances beyond the control of entity. Some cases may arise, right, and create limitations to the auditor. It is beyond the controls of the entity. We will explain, I will explain what are the examples, right. Second one, circumstances relating to the nature and timing of the auditor's work. The auditor has been appointed after the financial year end. Financial year ended with 31st March, auditor has been appointed 10th April or 1st April. Then you cannot involve in the physical count, right. Then limitation imposed by the management. Management reluctant to provide information or explanations, right. Look at the examples for these 3. First take these 3 areas. From these 3 areas, limitation will arise, then I will explain the examples, right. Right. For the first one, examples of circumstances beyond the control of the entity. The entity accounting records have been destroyed due to natural disaster. Books of records destroyed. Clear? Due to lighting or any other thing, system may be destroyed or data may be corrupted. Then they cannot provide the information, right. Beyond the control of the entity. Then accounting records of the significant component have been seized indefinitely by government authorities. Now look at these days what happened. So many office files and so many companies files obtained by the government regulatory authorities to conduct different examinations. Then during that process, can you audit? Can you carry out your audit on that organization? Can't. No documents also with the FCID or any other police station or any other government organization. That's true. If there are more frauds, they have to examine those things. But once they obtain files, can auditor examine those things? Can't. It is beyond the control of entity, right? Then second one, examples of circumstances relating to the nature of timing of the auditor's work include. What are the examples? The entity required to use the equity method of accounting for an associate entity, and the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about the latest financial information to evaluate whether the equity method have been appropriately applied. Right? Now, no information to check whether they are appropriately applied, because when you are auditing your parent company, right, they are recording their investment in associate. That associate company is another one. It is not under you. Now, you cannot obtain information from that business. Then you cannot evaluate the value of the associate. Right? The timing of the auditor's appointment. Clear? Right. Then third example is the auditor determined that performing substantive procedures. What is substantive procedure? The audit procedures you are going to apply on balances and transactions. Clear? Right? Now, when there is huge risk of control or inherent, clear what I am telling? Huge risk of control means they haven't enough proper controls within the business. Inherent risk means they have more risk, right, from the environment, within an external environment. Now, when they have huge risk, right, you concluding the financial statement may include more material misstatements, right? Then you can say the audit procedures on balances and transaction not enough to ensure those things. Clear? The recommended procedures and methods by the standard is not enough to ensure those balances, because they haven't any control. Those transactions and events occurred without a control. Then our procedure is not enough to ensure the balances or transaction. Clear? At that time, we have to identify it as a scope limitation. We cannot apply our procedures. Right? Third one, examples of inability to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence arising from limitation on the scope of audit imposed by the management. Management prevent the auditor from observing counting of physical inventory. Management prevent to use documents, right? Visit premises or observing counts, physical counts of stock or fixed asset, anything. And management prevent the auditor from requesting external confirmation. You have to ask them address of the debtors and creditors. At least you have to ask the addresses. They say no address about their debtors and creditors. Then you cannot confirm those things, right? You have to say no address. Therefore, we are not going to give to express an opinion, right? Right. These are the examples. Clear? Okay. Now, the emphasis of matter, I explained difference between other matter and emphasis matter, and now we move into the examples. Right? Now I have few examples to discuss, extracted from different professional examinations. Right? Take this one first. You are a manager in the audit department, niche and company, a firm of chartered accountants, responsible for audit of parent company, a new audit client operating in the construction industry. When you are reading the question, you have to identify the industry first. They are operating in the construction industry. You have to stop in that place and identify what are the rules and regulations applicable for that industry before read the other parts. What is the accounting standard applicable? LKS 11. Revenue recognition in the service. Stage of completion. It should be measured reliably at the reporting date. Otherwise, you cannot identify the income from the construction. You can identify it up to the expense you incurred if it is unable to measure the stage of completion. Those are the requirements in the LKS 11. Right? Now, continue your reading. Darren's company financial year ended 31st January 2015, and the draft financial statement recognized profit before tax $22.5 million. For last year, it was 20 million. And the total asset 370 million. including cash 3 million within that total asset. Clear? It is very important. Why? They have total asset of 370 million. 1% they have only cash out of the total asset. Clear? The working capital problems may arise, right? Then the company typically works on 3 construction contracts at the time. At the year end, they have ongoing 3 agreements, right? The audit is nearly complete and you are reviewing the audit working papers. The audit senior has brought several matters to your attention. Take the first one. Before go through these 3 issues, read the question examiner asks. Discuss the implication of the matters described above on the completion of the audit. And there are 3 questions, right? Discuss the matter, first one. Then auditor's report, how it affected the auditor's report, that is a modification. Third one, recommended further audit procedures on the financial statement. You have 3 questions. First, you have to discuss the matter relating to the accounting standard or other rules. Because in these 3 cases, maybe companies' practice they describe here. But there are some rules and regulations for each practice. They have accounting standard separately, right? Therefore, you have to discuss the matter in relation to the rules and regulation. Then you have to explain what should be the real opinion you can express. Then you have to explain additional requirement on the other asset and liabilities. Clear? Take the first one. Jaran company is working on a major contract, but keep your mind, they are now engaging with 3 contracts, right? Major contract relating to the construction of a bridge for Lever company. Work started in July 2014. Now you have to write down you have to draw down the timeline because you are in the construction industry now. Imagine. Entire revenue recognition based on the stage of completion, right? Now your financial year ended with 31st January. Started with previous year 1st February, right? The construction, now financial year ended with 31st January 15. That means it is started on 1st February 14. Construction is started on when? July 14. Clear? And it is estimated that the contract will be completed in September 2015. That means at the year end it is on progress, right? The contract price is 20 million. Once you complete, your entire income 20 million. And it is estimated that profit of 5 million will be made on completion of the contract. Once you complete the entire project, you will be earn 5 million net profit. The full amount of this profit has been included in the statement of profit or loss for the year ended 31st January 2015. That is the accounting treatment they used, right? Darren Company's management believes that this accounting treatment is appropriate given that the contract was signed during the financial year. They argued like this, we signed during the year, therefore it should be identified in this year. Their argument. And no problems have arisen in the works carried out so far, right? That's the argument. Now you have 3 questions relating to this case. First one, you have to discuss this case. How you have to discuss this one? You have to say the writing skill is the next part, right? You have to say this company engaging in construction, therefore they are in the construction industry. Construction industry, they have separate accounting standard, that is LKS 11, construction contract. As per the construction contract, revenue should be identified after completion of 4 criteria, right? First one is at the reporting date, they should have ability to measure stage of completion reliably. Other 3 come from LKS 18, you know. For the service income, you have to complete 4 criteria, right? And the important one is the stage of completion. As per the standard, to calculate the stage of completion, these are the recommended method. One is management should observe the site and identify the amount they completed. Clear? Second one, management should obtain the amount they incurred up to the reporting date and should take a percentage of the entire cost estimated. Right? Likewise, you have to explain, those are theories you can take from the standard books, right? You have to explain those things. Clear? However, this company identified entire profit, right, for the year 2014 and 15, but the contract or project running through 2014, 15 and the 15, 16 year, right? Therefore, this accounting treatment used by the company is not appropriate, right? It should be like this, you have to calculate and you can show that, right? That is the discussion of the case. Then, how it affected the audit report? How it affected the audit report? Now you discuss the case, right? That is the first paragraph. I will show the answer, right? This is the recommended answer. Look at the this is not only the answer. This slide and this slide is the recommended answer for first case. All our theories. Look at the first paragraph of the case. The total estimated profit is 5 million, which has been recognized in the statement of profit and loss. Right? Represent 22.2% of the profit for the year. That is the materiality. The company's profit is 22.5. Clear? Entire profit is 22.5. Now the profit identified relating to this project is 5 million. As a percentage, it is 22.2. That's why they mention it is material. Right? Before going to that one, you have to explain as per the LKS 11. Right? The case. What they used, what should be done. Then you have to find out the impact to the audit report. You have to say first. What you have to say? Qualified the opinion and issue the report. No, you can't say like this. Because you are not in the final stage. You are reviewing the files. Then what is the recommendation? First you have to check the materiality of the figure misrepresented. Right? Profit 5 million, entire profit is 22.5. It is 22.2 is the percentage. Therefore, it is material. Not only that, total asset is 370. Profit is misrepresented. Profit is 5. It lower the 10%. Therefore, it is not pervasive. Right? It is material. Now, what you have to do? Auditor should ask to management to use applicable method or treatment to identify the revenue as per the LKS 11. And auditor should ask to management to restate the financial statement. That is the first thing you have to say. Right? If so, if they agree to do so, no doubt, you can issue unmodified audit opinion on that matter. If management didn't agree to do so, you have to say there is a disagreement with management. Right? It is material, this is the amount, right? And this is the material level. You can calculate the material level also. Why? You have the net profit. Right? You have the net profit 22.5. Then when you take 0.5% on that one, it is lower than 5 million. Therefore, you can say it is material. Right? It is material, but it is not affecting the entire financial statement. Therefore, auditor should express qualified opinion on the matter. Clear? Then they ask another question, what are the additional procedures you have to apply? What are the additional procedures? Once you qualify it and close that, what are the additional procedures? That is the important thing. Normally students believe once we qualify the report, no, now it is okay. But not. Once you qualify the report, that means you qualified a specific area in the financial statement, not the entire financial statement, a specific area. Now you identify the issue in a specific area in the financial statement, right? Then once you identified as a doctor, once you identified a cancer in a patient, you have to check the entire body, right? You have to check the entire body. No? Other cancers can be situated in other places all the body, in the body. Clear? Now you identified a cancer in this financial statement. One contract misrepresented. Then what are the additional procedures? They have another two contract. You have to perform same procedures on the other two contracts also. Clear? You have to check the opening balances also. If you are not the auditor in the last year, you have to check the opening balances also. Clear? Those things you have to recommend. That's why they ask what are the additional procedures you are going to apply. Now just read the answer the recommended by them. From the second one, the construction contract should be accounted. Look at how they line the answer. The construction contract should be accounted for in accordance with this international question. Therefore, IS 11, LKS 11, construction contract, right? Which state that when the outcome of the construction contract can be estimated reliably, contract revenue and contract costs associated with the construction contract shall be recognized as revenue and expense respectively by reference to the stage of completion. This is the paragraph, this is the paragraph they extracted from the standard book. The same paragraph in the standard book. You have to write down. No need to keep your mind those things, no? Right? Then second paragraph, Darren company has recognized 100% of the contract profit even though the contract is not yet complete. Now that in the second paragraph, first paragraph they explain about the real requirement in the standard. Second paragraph they explain about the existing case, right? The contract activity period in 15 months, and by the year end the contract activity has been ongoing for 7 months only. Therefore, the profit which has been recognized appear to be overstated, and it seems to have been recognized too early. Now third paragraph, the audit firm should clarify Darren company accounting policy on construction contract and confirm the method which is used to determine the stage of completion contract at the reporting day. Therefore, you have to check how they identify the stage of completions, right? IS 11 allows for a variety of method to be used. I told you it has 3 methods to check the stage of completion. For example, based on the proportion that contract cost incurred for work performed to date, we have to estimate total contract cost or survey of work performed, right? Then further evidence should be obtained to determine the stage of completion of this contract at the reporting date to enable the appropriate amount of revenue, cost and profit which should be recognized to be determined. Further procedures should be performing including for other contract, right? Same thing, no need to read this answer, right? You can plan. Once you receive this type of case, right? They ask 3 questions. Analyze the case, decide the effect to the financial audit report and other audit procedures. Analyze the case means you have to analyze that accounting issue with relating to the accounting standard. Clear? No need to analyze, you have to copy down the rules from the standard book and explain the current situation and explain the mismatch. This is the recommended method and this is the current method and this is the mismatch. That's how they explain in the answer. Clear? Then impact to the audit report. You can ask them to do so. If they do so, no need to qualify. If they are not going to apply the recommended method, you have to qualify the report. Then you identify the misrepresentation related to one area, therefore other area you have to examine. Once you identify the misrepresentation into the one area of the financial statement, other areas also need to be examined again. You need to carry out further procedures. Clear? Okay. Now take second one, second issue, right? And try to draw an answer by reading the second one. Then you can check whether you can analyze the case and identify the answer. I'll read the question, right? A significant contract was completed in September 2014. That is, during the year they completed. once they completed during the year, you know now it is not joining with the stage of completion. Clear? Now it is ended within the financial year. This contract relating to the construction of a 20-mile highway in a remote area, right? Just like Sri Lanka, right? Look at the case. In November 2014, several large cracks appeared in the road surface after a period of unusually heavy rain. After the heavy rain, so many cracks you can identify on the space of the road. You completed and handed over the project, right? Now there are some cracks. And the road had to be shut for 10 weeks while repair work was carried out. Due to that reason, the authority have to shut down the road for the repair for 10 months. New Build company paid for these repairs. New Build company paid for these repairs, but has taken legal action against the Darren company to recover the cost incurred of $40 million. Clear? You constructed a highway for the New Build company. You are Darren. You constructed for another company. You constructed and handed over. But later on, some cracks, damages to the surface arisen. Therefore, that company has to close down the road and repair it during 10 months. And they incurred $40 million to repair that. During that period, they lose their profit also. Right? Now, that company, your client going to sue against you to recover that cost. Right? Disclosure on this matter has been made in the notes to the financial statement. Look at the case. They disclose this matter in the financial statement. Audit evidence including written statement from Darren company's lawyers. Once you identify the litigation and claim, you have to obtain the confirmation from the lawyers. You obtain it, conclude that there is a possibility, but not a probability. Two different words, possibility and probability. Possibility cannot measure, but probability can be measured. There is a possibility, but not a probability of Darren company having settled the amount claimed. Right? Now, tell me, now you have three tasks. What is the first task? You have to, in the first paragraph, you have to explain the relevant accounting standard or accounting treatment for this matter. Then, existing case and the mismatch. Now, what is the accounting standard? Sorry? Provision, contingent liabilities and contingent asset. Any other standard? Any other answer? It's okay, acceptable. Any other answer? Read question again. You may identify there are another questions. Provisions is okay. Now, lawyers say there is a possibility, no probability, but then they disclose. If there is no probability of occurring that event, it is a contingent liability. No? Agreed? Agreed. Contingent liability should be disclosed. They had been done. Clear? The lawyers say there is no probability, only the possibility. Now you can conclude it should be a contingent liability, right? Then as per the standard, it should be disclosed in the financial statement with the financial implication. You have to disclose, only disclose. They did it. They disclose it. No doubt. Is there any other accounting standard applicable for you? Standard do any rule? Sorry? Receivable balance? From whom? No, handed over, now they identified as a debtor. No, they don't talk about their balances. Huh? There is a serious case. What is this? They are claiming $40 million from your company. Your total asset is 370. Right? Going concern. They have going concern matter here. Right? If you lose your case, what happened to the client? They have to close down their business. Their profit only $22.5 million per the year. They are claiming 40 million. Yeah, $40 million. Clear? Going concern matter is there. Both cases, provision matter as well as the going concern matter. Now you have the answer. Look at how they design the answer. This is the answer. Right? The amount claimed by new bill company is material to the financial statement, representing 10.8% of the total asset. Out of the total asset, it is 10 point. Now it is pervasive, right? And 178% of the profit before tax, because profit is 22, your claim is 40, 178%. Now it is not material, it is pervasive, right? It is also like to be considered material by nature, as the possible payment is much larger than the amount of cash recognized in the financial statement at the year end. You have only 3 million cash in your balance sheet. They are claiming 40 million. You have to realize your asset. Right? That means there is no going concern now. The implication for the going concern stated of Darren company should be considered. That is the important case here. Look at how examiner running you in a wrong way. Because we practice, if there is a law court case, contingent liabilities and provision. Right? Examiner try to mislead you. Right? You have to read question at least twice a time to decide the answer, before decide the answer. While you reading, don't decide your answer. Because while you are reading, your mind starting to imagine and finalize the question and answer while you reading. That is the nature of your mind. Once you are getting information by information, right, your mind automatically generate different alternative answers to you. Right? Don't go that way. Right? First read the question and read again, and normally you can see here in this question second case, in the surface they talk about provisions and contingent liability. Once you look at the question as a whole, it is very easy. Clear? In the final level exam, they are never asking this type of easy question. Therefore, you should think twice. There may be some hidden cases within this, right? The entire question they base out of this 40 million claim, right? If in future cases, right, if you receive the amount of claim, right, you have to compare with the total asset and profit, because it may affect in the going concern. Right? Okay. The implication for the going concern stated of Darren company should be considered. Right? The matter should be discussed with the management to obtain an understanding of how Darren company could meet any necessary cash payment. That means if you lose, you have to ask from the management, if you lose this case, how you find out cash to payments, right? Due to the potential for such a sizable cash payment, management should confirm that should the amount become payable, the company has adequate resources to fund the cash outflow, for example, through the existence of lending facilities. Those are the mitigating factors. We have to obtain the mitigating factors from them. That is the first issue. Still you are discussing the case, you are not going to the report, right? Don't mix the impact to the report, further procedures and the discussion. Don't mix. Stage by stage you have to answer. You are discussing. Now you are discussing going concern case. Right? You have to discuss, you can recommend it. There is a going concern issue. If company lose the case, they have to pay 40 million rupees. It is 170% of the materiality from the profit and more than 10% out of the total asset. They have only 3 million cash. Therefore, they are facing difficulties in payments. Therefore, auditor should discuss with the management regarding the mitigating factors. How company going to find out this cash if they lose. This is the first case. Second case, your answer. IAS 37, LKS 37. The auditor should review the content of the note for completeness and accuracy of that note regarding the claim. Right? Because lawyer said it is only possible, not probable about payment. Therefore, you can conclude that it is a contingent liability. And they disclose it in the financial statement also. Clear? Then what you have to discuss? Can you ask management to disclose this in the financial statement? You can't write down like this. There is a contingent liability. Therefore, as per the LKS 37, management should disclose this matter in the financial statement. We have to check it. Don't write like this because they already disclosed it. Then what you have to do? You have to check the adequacy and accuracy and completeness of the disclosures. They done it. Now you have to check the activity they made. You have to check the accuracy, you have to check the completeness, and you have to check the adequacy of the disclosure, whether they properly disclose or not. No need to recommend to disclose because they already disclosed. Clear? Right. And contingent asset, if the amount is possible rather than probable to be paid, then it is treated as contingent liability. It is treated as contingent liability, and note to the account should be provided to describe the nature of the situation and estimate of the possible financial impact and indication of uncertainty. Now, how you design your answer? In the exam, turn LKS 37 standard. Can you bring the accounting standard book also? Right. Turn that standard book and directly goes to where? Contingent liability topic and the disclosure requirement of the, because they already disclosed now. Clear? They identified it as a contingent liability and they disclose. Now we have to check whether it is adequate or not. Therefore, turn the page of disclosure requirement of contingent liability. That is at the end of the standard you can see that. Then write down as per, now you can say, right? As per the LKS 37, these are the disclosure requirement for contingent liabilities, then you can write down. Clear? Within few minutes you can write down. Therefore, auditor should check the disclosures made by the management is comply with this requirement. Clear? That's all. Then, to ensure the IAS 37 has been complied with, the auditor should review the content of the note of completeness and accuracy. Event after the reporting date should also be considered. Then LKS 10. Why? At the reporting date, they have a court case. After the reporting date, between the reporting date and authorized date, it may be finalized. Therefore, you need to consider the event occurring after the subsequent event. Right? For example, legal correspondence should be reviewed to confirm the probability of payment have been changed by the time of audit report being signed. Right? Due to the size of potential cash outflow, the auditor should consider including emphasis of meta paragraph in the audit report. Now, they disclose their contingent liability. Clear? They disclose. No disagreement. No scope limitation. They provided information, they disclose. But you know, it is more pervasive to the financial statement, and users should aware about the case. Therefore, what is the suitable method to present the report? Emphasis of meta paragraph. Right? Emphasis of meta paragraph in the audit report. The purpose of this paragraph is to communicate, right? To communicate a matter which is fundamental to the user's understanding of the financial statement. 706, emphasis of meta and other meta paragraph, standard, right? Independent auditors report provide examples of situation which may give rise to the inclusion of the emphasis meta paragraph, including uncertainty related to the future outcome of the inspectional litigation and regulatory action. The emphasis of meta paragraph should include clear reference to the matter being emphasized. That means you have to link with the note number. Normally in the practice we are including, without qualifying our opinion, we draw your attention to the note number this, right, which explain about this case. That's enough. That is the practice we use in the audit firm, right? You have to say you have to say here also, in the emphasis of matter paragraph, you have to write down first without qualifying our opinion, right? It should be there. Without qualifying our opinion, we draw your attention to the note number, these on financial statements which explain the matter. You have to explain the matter, brief explanation of matter. Clear? That's enough. Because sometime examiner may be asked you to write down the draft opinion. Clear? Right. Now look at the third case in this question and try to identify what you have to do for the third case. For the first time this year, the financial statements are presented as part of an integrated report. Integrated reporting. Included in the integrated reports are several key performance indicators, one of which state that Darrell's company profit before tax has increased by 20% from the previous year. In the integrated reporting, you are not presenting only the financial information, other information you also providing. Within this information you mention what is? You mention your profit has been decreased by 20% when comparing to the last year. Now try to imagine your action against this case. Look at the original question. In their integrated reporting, they mention their profit before tax has been increased by 20% when comparing to last year. However, in the financial statement here you can see last year 20 million, this year 22.5 million, that is increase only by 2.5 million. It is most probably 10% or between 10 and 15. Between 10 and 12, no? Right? That's a problem. But they have mentioned in their integrated reporting, it is increased by 20%. Now you need to collect evidence on that explanation, right? Look at the answer. The key performance indicators included in the integrated report are by definition other information. Other information in the financial statement. Auditor have to audit those things, right? According to the 720, SLA US 720, other informations, responsibility relating to the other information in document containing audited financial statement. Other information is defined as financial and non-financial information which is included either by law, regulation or custom as a habit, right? In a document containing audited financial statement. Other than the financial statement, they are including other financial and non-financial information we call other information. But it is an integral part of the financial statement. According to the 720 auditing standard, the auditor is required to read the other information to identify material misstatements, right? If any, with the audited financial statement, there appears to be an inconsistency because the KPI state that profit before tax has been increased by 20%, but the increase shown is 12.5%. The auditor must be use professional judgment to determine if this is material misstatements. Clear? Assuming that this is deemed to be material misstatement, the auditor should consider whether the financial statement or other information should be amended. They materially misstated their profit increase. Now you have to check whether it should be amended or not, right? The audit completion procedure including final analytical review and review the working papers will determine whether the profit before tax figures are stated in the financial statement need to be amended, right? From the discussion above, it is like to some adjustment to the profit before tax will be needed regardless of this KPI. Clear? That means now in the other information they mention their profit increased by 20%. But in the financial statement it was 12.5%. Now you have to check both figures. You can't say that 12.555 is correct. Again, you can't say that 20% is wrong. You don't know which is the correct one. Therefore, you have to perform audit procedures again on your financial statement to check whether that 12.5% is okay or not. Right? That's the important thing. You have to write down it. Because once they presented it is 20%, you can't say that is wrong. Clear? It is most likely that KPI included in indicated report should be changed in agreement with the movement in the profit shown in the adjusted financial statement. Once you adjusted your financial statement, as per this adjusted financial statement, you have to change the other information. You have to advise to the management, right? And management should be asked to make necessary change to the KPI. If management refuses to do so, the material misstatement remains. The auditor should include other matter paragraph. That is the point to including other matter paragraph. Now, no need to learn this answer. What you have to obtain from this case, that is important, right? The management included other information in the financial statement. It is not complied with the information in the financial statement. Therefore, you have to adjust your financial statement with the management and ask to management to change the other information. They are not going to change the other information. You know, it may be mislead the users, but it is not explained in the financial statement. Therefore, you can't emphasize, because to emphasize there is no anything. Clear? To emphasize there should be something. Now there is no anything. They mentioned they didn't change. Therefore, you have to explain that in the audit report. We call that other matter paragraph. You may think fit, it should be known by the users. Therefore, you are including other matter paragraph stated in the matter. Clear? Right. This is the answer. And take this example. I will stop within another 15 minutes, right? Okay, take this answer, this question. This is totally different from the previous one, right? The schedule of the proposed adjustment, uncorrected misstatement included in the Batley Company audit working paper shown below, including notes to explain each matter included in the schedule. The audit partner is holding the meeting with management tomorrow, at which the uncorrected misstatement will be discussed. Statement of profit and loss, statement of financial position. Propose adjustment to the uncorrected misstatements, right? Share-based payment. The share-based payment, debit, profit and loss, credit, liability or in the share-based payment, what is the accounting treatment? That's the important thing. Don't be the person who control the law without having the law, right? In Sri Lanka, so many people going to control the law without having the law, right? Now we are going to audit. You are going to answer the auditing paper. Therefore, most important thing is not the auditing standard, accounting standard. Now look at here, right? The share-based payment. In this standard, what are the applicable accounting procedures? Cash settled share-based payment should be identified as a liability. Share settled share-based payment should be identified in the equity. Now they recorded like it. Now your recommendation is to debit profit and loss, credit balance sheet, that is to equity or liability, right? Then second one, restructuring provision, profit and loss debit, credit, the asset or liability debit, right? Then additional allowances required to slow moving inventory. Additional allowances, that means you have to write off your stock. These are the recommendations made by the auditors. Now take the cases. You have three cases. First one, share-based payment scheme was established in January 2014. Management has not recognized any amount in the financial statement. Now think with the accounting standard. They established their share-based payment in January 2014. Now your financial year ended after that date, right? Management didn't make any provision in the financial statement. Is it correct? Wrong. Disagreement with the management because they didn't apply share-based payment, right? arguing that due to the decline in Bradley Company's share price, due to the decline of the share price, they didn't adjusted it. The share option granted are unlikely to be exercised. The audit conclusion is that an expense and related equity figure should be included in the financial statement. Right? Auditor asks you to identify it. Then, before go through other question, look at the answer for that share-based payment case from here. This is a share-based payment case. Last 3 paragraphs, because you can remind your knowledge regarding share-based payment. The adjustment in related to the share-based payment scheme is material, individually to the profit, representing 12% of the revenue. It represents less than 1% of the total asset, is not material to the statement of financial position. Because in here, they provided their profit and total asset, right? Once you read the entire question, you can obtain that. Therefore, once you receive this type of disagreement with management, you have to check the materiality and the pervasiveness. How you are going to check? Take the misrepresented amount and compare with the profit or sale, that is the materiality. Then compare with the net asset or total asset, that is the pervasiveness in the practice. Normally, if net asset more than 10%, we call it is pervasiveness. If total asset more than 10%, it is pervasiveness. Right? Here, now this case explain the representing 12% of the revenue, but in the total asset it is 1%. Therefore, the matter is not material to the entire financial statement, that is balance sheet. IFRS 2 share-based payment requires an expense and corresponding equity to be recognized over the vesting period of share-based payment scheme. You know that. As per the accounting standard, once you announce share-based payment, that expense account debit, liability or equity account credit as per the scheme. Right? With the amount recognized based on the fair value of equity instrument granted. Management argument that no expenses should be recognized because the options are unlikely to be exercised is not correct. IFRS 2 as SLFRS 2 would classify the fall in Bradley Company share price as a market condition, and these are not relevant to determine whether the expense is recognized or amount of it. Therefore, management should requested to make necessary adjustment to recognize the expense and entry to equity 300,000. If it is not recognized, now you ask them to recognize. If it is not recognized, the financial statement will contain material misstatement, disagreement with management. We call material misstatement with consequence for the auditor's opinion. Auditor should express qualified opinion because it is material, no pervasive. Clear? Therefore, this answer is not important. Once you receive accounting mismatch, first you have to explain accounting treatment. Then you have to criticize their applied treatment and ask them to do the real method. Right? If they agreed, no doubt. If they are not agreed, right, you have to qualify your express and adverse opinion based on the materiality. Clear? That is for the share-based payment. Now look at this answer. This entire answer, first paragraph and second paragraph, entirely from accounting, no audit. Auditing part only here. The entire answer explained about accounting. Clear? Therefore, once you receive accounting mismatch, you have to explain the real accounting procedure and ask management to do so. Right? Then if you are not going to apply that one, you can qualify or modify the opinion. Okay. Now look at the second accounting issue. A provision has been recognized in respect of the restructuring involving the closure of one of the steel processing plant. They are going to discontinue one of their plant. Management approved the closure at the board meeting in August 2014 within the year, but announced the closure of employees in September 2014. They announced it September 2014. The audit conclusion is that provision should not be recognized. Right? Now, again they talk about discontinued operations or provisions. Discontinued operation, no provision. What they talk about? Because they are going to close a specific plant. It may be discontinued operations and provision for the claim. What is the matter they are talking about? Provision, because they are recommended double entry is provision. We have to shut that double entry only, right? Now restructuring provision, look at the answer. Now again go through the design of the answer, right? No need to cram this answer. Try to get something from this answer. This is accounting mismatch. How they explain? The adjustment in relation to the provision is material, representing 2% of revenue. The represent less than 1% of the total asset is not material for the entire financial statement, but material for the that figure. No pervasiveness, but material. Now look at in each answer relating to the accounting mismatch. In the first paragraph, what they did? They check whether it is material or pervasive. Therefore, write down not this answer, process. Once you receive a mismatch of account standard, first you have to calculate and represent the materiality and pervasiveness, then explain the real accounting standard, then ask management to do so. If they are not going to do so, explain the qualified opinion. Clear? That is the process. Now look at the second paragraph. As per the 37 LKS 37, right, required that the restructuring provisions to be recognized. There must be a present obligation as a result of past event. Because you announced that closure, you have to pay. Now you have present obligation, right? And that is only when the detailed formal plan is in place and entity has started to implement the plan. Announce its main features those affected. The board decision is insufficient to create a present obligation as a result of past event. The provision should be recognized in September 2014 when the announcement to employees was made. Board decision is not the time create the obligation. The announcement is the time that create the obligation. You announce to the employees, right? Management should ask to explain. Now look at, now they explain in the second paragraph about the accounting treatment, right? Now in the third paragraph, management should ask to explain why they have included the provision in the financial statement. For example, they may have an earlier announcement before 31st August 2015 that financial year ended with 31st August, right? They announced to employees in 30th September. That means they announced this matter after the financial year. Clear? Present obligation arising after the announcement, not after the board decision. Board decision may be implemented or not. Therefore, that is not the point that arise the present obligation. Now, they announce after the financial year. Financial year ended with 31st August. They announce in September. Right? Now, auditors recommended double entry to revise this double entry. You can see. They asked to revise the entry. Right? They asked to credit profit and loss and debit provision to revise it. Then you have to ask them to revise it, right? May have an opinion in the auditor's report. Each of the matter included the schedule of uncorrected mistakes will be discussed below. Sorry, not this one, right? In the absence of such further information, management should be informed the accounting treatment of the provision is material misstatement, which if it remains unadjusted, you have to consider the modification of your audit report, right? Therefore, this question also majority line with the accounting standard, right? Here they are talking about the time of arising present obligation. To become a provision or to become a liability, you should have a present obligation. That is the point. That present obligation arise after the financial year. Therefore, no need to provide. Therefore, you have to ask to revise the financial statement. If they are not going to revise, qualify the report based on the materiality. Therefore, each question in the early paragraph, they are explaining the materiality and pervasiveness. right? Okay. Now I am going to stop the class because now it's 7:30. You may face in difficulties to find out your vehicles, right? We will meet again in tomorrow evening. We have 9 days, right? I'll take another 30 minutes to discuss other questions in here because those are different questions I selected. After that, I move into Code of Ethics and Corporate Governance part because please, if you are participating tomorrow, please bring additional reading document, right? I am going to discuss this document first. Then based on that one, we can discuss the requirement. Because in your additional reading, right, free-seen material, have you obtained it? That free-seen material mainly talk about going to public by that TSCL company. Have you remember? Going to public means link with the corporate governance requirement. Therefore, it may be tested, right? There are so many implications we will discuss tomorrow. Please bring that document, right? Okay, thank you for the participation. Good night.